Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Friday. I'm staring here. Staring here. I'm sitting here staring here at me. Oh my gosh, I feel like that's such a bad sign for this podcast. I think I might need to eat. Like my brain's not functioning at full capacity. I do feel as though because I've been running, y'all, my 8.5 mile run last Friday. First of all, why are they telling me I have a 9.5 mile run today, which is tomorrow, but when you're listening today? Literally, as I was running the 8.5 miles, running is so interesting. If you have never really ran longer than a mile, which I think most people probably haven't, like running isn't for everybody, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I get the runner's itch, and I blame my brother. However, if you've never ran past, I would say 1 to 2 miles, there is a point in a long run, and I know that it doesn't make any sense if you've never done it, but like you black out, and you don't black out, but your body takes over. Like I'm telling you, between miles, I would say typically 3 and 6. 3 and 7, it depends on the day, it depends on the run. I'm just making like an overall generalization. Your body is on autopilot. Like you just run. Once you're in a rhythm, you're just going at like a normal, slow, whatever your pace is, it just happens. Like my run was good. And here's where they fucking got me. I'm doing the Run-A-Plan, which is literally incredible. I obviously am doing ads with them, as you guys can see, but Runna, it truly has been so helpful. And like, before, even when my brother gave me plans way in the past, I didn't have a certain pace I was hitting. Like I would just go out every single day. I either had maybe a 3-mile run, a 5-mile run, 400-meter sprints. You just had to do 4 of them. But like I would just run and I didn't know how fast I was going. I didn't know, like my rest probably wasn't the time it should have been. Like I was just taking, let's say I'm doing intervals, I'm resting in between for God knows how long. It just wasn't very structured. I was getting the mileage in, but with Runna, like every single race, like, or not race, every single run, you have a pace that you're hitting. It tells you like, don't run faster than this. Okay, when you do these sprints, run this. And last Friday's run, I'm sorry if I'm boring you. If you're not a runner, you probably don't really give a shit. But it was an 8.5 mile run. However, they called this a hotspot run, which I think Runna has their own kind of set of workouts. I'm not sure if this is like a commonly used name for a run. Like obviously there's interval training, like there's interval workouts, there's tempo runs, there's easy runs, like that's common knowledge. But this hotspot run in specific, you run 8.5 miles. However, at 5.5, I think, yes, it was just a standard 5.5 miles, but then at 5.5, and my watch speaks to me and she lets me know ahead of time. Like most runs, I would say you're running just like 4, 5, 6 miles at whatever pace. Therefore, she doesn't say anything. She just tells you at the mile what your pace was, which is how I'm able to film and tell you guys when I film. But it leads up to this point, and I knew going into the run that this was it, but at 5.5, it had me run at a faster pace. And it was only for half a mile. So the other 8 miles were just a slow pace, but from 5.5 to 6, it was like I needed to hit a 10-minute pace or something, maybe a 9:30. I don't remember, but I just ran 5.5 miles. And honestly, before that, like from miles 1 to 5, I feel like miles 1 to 2, it's kind of getting in the rhythm. Like you're getting over the hurdle in your brain of like running. It's like, oh fuck, like the first mile, it's like, gosh, I'm about to run. Like you're looking out onto like 8 more miles or 7 more miles. But then around 2 or 3, you kind of get into it. The autopilot kicks in. But this run at 5.5, I kicked it into gear a little bit faster to 6 miles, but then I still had 2.5 to go. It was 8.5 total. I was so dead. Of course, it was like the sprint. It wasn't even a sprint. A 9:30 is like not really a sprint. Well, it depends on what your average pace is. However, it was the sprint, and it was like the other 5.5 miles that caught up to me during this time. The 2.5 miles home, like the mental battle. But like the one good thing in running or just walking in general, when you leave your house and you run out, I was 2.5 miles from home. I'm going to have to either run or walk to get home. Running is faster, right? Like when you hit that point, you're like, oh my gosh. Well, I text my brother after. I'm like, oh my gosh, just ran this, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, surely that should be your last long run, and then it'll taper down until race week, because every Friday is my long run, and I'm only running 6 miles for this race. I've said this 100 times. So like, you're probably thinking, why are they having you run 8 miles? Like, it's obviously good for training, whatever. And this is normal. Like when I ran the half marathon way back in the day, I don't think I actually ran it because I got really sick. I ran a half marathon, or it was in my training plan to run a half about a month before the half. Like you need to make sure your body can do it. Right? Like people who run marathons, like this isn't their first time running 26 miles typically. Maybe they don't get quite up, but like in their training plan months prior, they're running 20, 21, 22 miles. Like you don't just go out, like that would be horrible to do and dangerous, right? Well, my brother was like, surely that's like your longest run and now it'll taper down until the race. I look at my Runna app today. I have a 9.5 mile run tomorrow. I'm not sure how I'm feeling about that. We're going to forget about it. Oh my gosh. But what I was saying before I got into this, May dog, let's talk about May. My friend Garrett called me. This actually wasn't last week. I think it was the week before. He always calls me to talk about social media and marketing and that sort of thing because he is my friend who owned May prior and then moved to Nashville to become an artist. And it's interesting because back in the day with music, like if you got on the radio, I think you just had to know the right people. Obviously, you have to be a good artist. But like today, it's social media. Like how many musicians now have come up starting on TikTok and like promoting their songs on TikTok and on Instagram, and to break into the scene is different. But anywho, so Garrett asked me about like marketing stuff, but I'm like, what you're doing is so different. Like you're trying to promote your music. Like, I don't know. I just get on the internet and say the craziest fucking shit and that's it. Like I'm not trying to promote anything. I'm just like trying to be funny. However, he calls and he was saying that it's his 4-year anniversary of moving to Nashville because like that was the start. He quit at his job, which he owned a company with his best friend, or he sold his half to his friend, and then he left for Nashville. So it was like a big moment for him, and it must be like in his calendar, like the reunion or the anniversary of when he went. But that anniversary for him is my anniversary with May, and I didn't even think about it. He was like, it was 4 years ago that I moved to Nashville, and that was when he asked me to live in his house and take care of May. It wasn't then that it was decided that May was going to be my dog, but it was like the end of August is when he moved and I moved into the house, and that's when I started owning May. It's our 4-year anniversary, pumpkin. That was probably so annoying. Anywho, let's move on. I was thinking on my walk this morning, I do my morning walks before this pod. Well, I do them every day, but I use that time to think about the episode and what the fuck happened this last week. And I don't even know what the fuck did happen. Friday, I ran. Friday, Carter got home. Oh my gosh, at 8. Remember, he left at like 6:30 in the morning. If you've been watching my morning vlogs on TikTok, I'm loving those. I'm literally loving making them. They do take a bit of time, and it is kind of tedious to film every fucking thing that I'm doing. I'm like, Brenna, surely you could cut some of this out. Surely people don't need to see you feed May every morning. But like, I also would feel fraudulent if I wasn't filming what I'm doing. Let me know what your thoughts are. But anywho, Carter left at 6:30 6:30 on Friday morning, roughly, to get in, because he's like, if I don't go in early, I'm going to be working until 10. He gets home at 8. I ordered us taco stand burritos. He worked until 10, I think. Like, he came home at 8, but he still had stuff to do until 10. He also had more to do over the weekend. Therefore, Saturday, we wake up. He had a haircut. Oh, that's the other thing. His haircuts. Remember, he gets a haircut every fucking 2 weeks. I literally cannot. I get a haircut every year. Once a year. He gets a haircut every 2 weeks. I'm like, you are so high maintenance, which they're only like 30 minutes. And thankfully, the barber now is closer. Do you remember when he went to the haircut place in Allen? If you don't know where Allen is, it was literally a 40-minute drive. Allen is like one of the most far suburbs, but this girl, Jada, did his haircuts and she was phenomenal and we really did enjoy her. I mean, I met her once, but like she was wonderful. And she works at this like it's known. I remember when I posted about this way long ago on TikTok, somebody commented and asked me if he goes to X barber, and I didn't know the name of it. I just knew he went to Jada, and I asked him and he was like, yes. And I was like, oh, that's crazy, because I didn't even say like any details. I'm very conscious of like the details that I'm sharing. I don't want people to know where he's getting his haircut, but this girl was like, my boyfriend goes there too. Like, it is like the best, most, whatever. He changed once he started full-time working at his previous firm to a closer barbershop, because like, what the fuck, you're working and you're going to drive every Saturday? Because now we can't get him during the week. He used to get him during the week because he was in law school. He got a barber closer to our old place, but it's not far from here. I mean, we only live like 10 minutes away. However, now with his current job, he's so busy that he has to get them on the weekends. I think every other Saturday morning at like 9:30 is going to be our haircut appointment. But Cutie Carter, he's not needy, but he loves being together. Like, even if we're not interacting, like, at night, I want to go upstairs and I want to get into bed and read my book. I can sit on the couch and read, but it's like, okay, at some point I'm going to have to get up. I would just prefer to go up there earlier. If I leave Carter, like, we've been sitting on the couch for 2 hours not speaking. He's watching his show. I'm on my phone or on my book, reading my book, and we haven't spoken. But the second I get up and go to the stairs to go upstairs and get into bed, he's like, oh, you're leaving? I'm like, what the fuck are you even talking about? We've been sitting on this couch for 2 hours, not even speaking. But like, he just wants to be close. And I knew it was going to happen Saturday morning. He was leaving for his haircut and it's like 30 minutes. And if I go with him, I drop him and then I need to find something to do for 30 minutes. But like, he really wants me to go because he's like, then we can grab breakfast after. And like, he just like wants to be together, which is honestly so precious. I need to shut the fuck up. However, I go with him. I drop him off. It's right by this World Market. Therefore, I went into World Market and bopped around. They have the cutest stuff. If you've never been to a World Market or don't know what World Market is, because I didn't know what World Market was until only a couple of years ago, I would say it's comparable to, have you ever seen, that's not true. I was going to say Anthropologie's home stuff. They've just got more like boho, I would say, decor. They also have standard stuff though. Like, the reason I said Anthropologie is because you know how Anthropologie is known for those glasses with like the little things in them? Like during Valentine's Day, they'll have the little hearts, and during the holidays, they'll do little pumpkins. They have all of those. They also have like a full array, like, of everything. They have dishes there. They have Dutch ovens. They have a wine section. They have a snack section. Then they have tables and chairs and lamps and rugs. And none of them are very, very big, but they're big enough. And they have like everything. They have artwork, and then they have like holiday decor. Their stuff is just the cutest. I'm trying to think if I've actually ever bought anything from there in my home. I don't think so. I feel like I have. It's not coming to me off the top of my head. You know what I did buy there for the first time? My little electric lighter, which is so random, but I had seen them before, and then I was in their candle section and I saw that they had them, and that's where I bought my first one. And then I bought the rest on Amazon. Well, I only have 2. What are you talking about? The rest? Anywho, I go to World Market, I look around, and then Carter gets done. I go pick him up, and we go to Sugar and Sage, which is this bakery that the nanny kids took me to. I'm sure I spoke about this on the podcast. And they have wonderful pastries. There's 2 places in Dallas. I would say that this is better than the Village Baking Co. The Village Baking Co. is a little baking company, which the nanny fam also took me to for the first time. Nanny dad on Fridays, he had a personal trainer in Knox Henderson, and it was right next to the Village Baking Co. that's there. And he would get breakfast. He would get they have baguettes. They have all sorts of pastries. They have these wonderful ham and cheese warm sandwiches. And then, of course, coffee. He would come home every Friday. Coffees for me and nanny mom, and then pastries for the kids that they would eat on the way to school, even though we also got Starbucks on Fridays. We got Starbucks every Monday and Friday. It was something that nanny mom had did because it made her life easier, obviously, just to not have to deal. It's Monday, everybody's rolling out of bed. And then Friday, it's woo, it's Friday. And therefore they would order ahead on the app, and then we would go and pick it up. Every single Friday and Monday of the week, I drove to Starbucks with the kids. We'd pick it up and then get to school. Anywho, just a little side tangent. Speaking of the nanny fam, I'm staying with the kids this weekend. Nanny mom texted me and she said, what are the odds that you're free this weekend and you want to have a sleepover with your favorite kids? And I said, you got it. She called then and was like, well, actually, Nanny Boy called me a few days later, and I had already spoken to her. I said yes. She said, I was going to leave them, but I think they would just feel comfortable with somebody sleeping there. You can go out and do whatever during the day, but they're going to a bat mitzvah for one of their very close friends. Well, Nanny Boy calls me 2 mornings ago at 7:30, which they know I'm awake, obviously, and they're on their way to school. And he's like, hi, Buena. And I talked to him and he tried. I knew it. I saw it from a mile away. He goes, are you excited to see your favorite kid? A competition between the 2 of them, but he only said him. Are you excited to see your favorite kid? And I said, I'm excited to see my favorite kiddos. And then I hear Nanny Girl in the background, and she's like, did you know I was in the car? Because they were silent. Nanny Mom and Nanny Girl had not said anything. If I didn't know any better, which I would say that anyways, well, maybe that's not true, but I was like, I'm going to cover my bases here, just to be extra careful, because I don't want to start World War I before I get there. I don't want to piss Nanny Girl off. And I'm like, hi, chick, love you. And we were chatting and they told me what's going on. And there is a football game for their school. It's an away game, but where the nanny fam lives, the school that they're playing, where the game is walking distance. They live close to a school, but it's an all boys school, which Carter and I have been talking a lot about. And this is going to be so annoying and so bougie, but I'm going to be candid with you guys. In Dallas, there is Highland Park, which I've talked about a million fucking times, but let me break down the school system. Highland Park schools are amazing. Highland Park is its own zip code. Where we live is a Dallas zip code. Highland Park is within Dallas. It has its own zip code. You don't have the address Greenbrier Street, Dallas, Texas. It's Greenbrier, Highland Park, Texas. They have their own municipality. They have their own sheriffs, cops. It's its own thing. And it's y'all, how many, let me actually look this up, which I don't even really know depths or it's hard for me to visualize, when somebody says, I can visualize a football field, but when somebody says yeah, this car was 10 yards in front of me, I'm like, what the fuck is 10 yards? I obviously know what it is, but when people say that, yeah, they're probably that bird was 20 feet away from me. I'm like, oh, I cannot quickly visualize. Then I try to break down like a distance that I know, like even 10 feet. I'm like, what really is 10 feet? I'm not good at that, but we're still going to look up what is the square mileage. Is that even what you would say? Of Highland. I put Holand. Oh my God, Brenna. Well, it'll autocorrect. Texas. Okay. Highland Park, Texas has a land area of approximately 2.2 square miles. Okay, 2 by 2. So like, does that mean 1 mile up and 1 mile over? Like, it's not that big, you guys. It's like a little neighborhood, but they have their own, they have their own library. They have their own whole thing. So you have to live in Highland Park. It's a public school. That's another thing. Highland Park High School and the schools within, like, I don't know what the elementary and the middle schools are called, but obviously they have those as well. You have to live in Highland Park to go to the public school system. And naturally, the Dallas, like if you're just even outside of that, you're put into the Dallas public school system, which just is not as good. And if you have the funds, here is the thing. Highland Park High School, because you have to live in Highland Park, where they get you is property taxes. Obviously, aside from the fact that Highland Park homes are no less than $1 million easily. Like a home in Highland Park, like to find even, you could maybe find even the townhomes and condos are probably $1 million. The homes themselves are fucking expensive. Let's get that clear. The property taxes, this is where they get you because that's what you're paying for. Like that essentially, when comparing to the conversation I'm going to explain, you can live outside of Highland Park. Like, for example, the nanny fam, they live essentially, I would say it's Preston Hollow. They're like right on the outskirts, which is a neighborhood, but it's a Dallas zip code. It's a Dallas zip code. You would be put in the Dallas public school system. So the affluent people, the rich people that live in Preston Hollow, you're sending your kids to a private school. Okay. But, and I need to do more research on this. I was explaining it to Carter. Private schools in Dallas, like for example, the school that the kids go to is, I think, roughly $40,000 a year. The nanny fam is paying roughly, and like this is a lot of families. Well, the rich people, hello, duh, not like most people. This area of town, these affluent people are paying $40,000 a year. Hello, Brenna. $40,000 a year for their kids to go to school. And I've looked it up, the other public schools. So the nanny kids go to one and it's a co-ed. There's also another one. There are a few, but they're not in the Dallas zip code. The private school that they go to is in a suburb. Okay. Well, there are a few schools and they're right by us, which is why we talk about it. Not right by us, but like not far from us. There are 2 all boys schools, and then they have 2 or 3 all girls school that they must come together for like maybe dances and things. I don't know, but like a lot of people go there. Like when I go into the nice neighborhoods right around us, like there are so many kids school signs. You know how people put the sign of their school in the front yard? There's St. Mark's, there's Jesuit, there's Hockaday, and there's Ursuline. Those are the boys in the girls' school. I'm not sure. ESD, Episcopal. I always say it wrong. Episcopal School District. That is a private school that's in Dallas. That is co-ed. But Carter and I were talking about when we're older and we have children and we're thinking about the school system, you either live in Highland Park, and like what I'm saying is that paying for the private school, it's like, holy fuck, you're paying $40,000 a kid to go to private school to have them get a good education. Not that they wouldn't get a good education. Again, I grew up in fucking North Dakota, which I'm not going to call that a good education. Everything's going to be fine. Again, these are like such snooty people like, oh, what private school is my kid going to go to? I get it. It's annoying as fuck. And it's like, I can't even believe I'm having these conversations. However, when you live in Highland Park, your kids go to a public school, you're not paying for public school, but I think the property taxes on your home roughly are the same. You're paying one way or another. It's similar to like, which I guess this is a little different. Texas is a no state income tax state. We don't have state income tax. I think like everything comes out in the wash. Like you're paying for tax one way or the other, kind of. I mean, that is a perk. I don't even know how we got here. Let's move right the fuck along. Carter and I go to Sugar and Sage. Carter loves it. It was his first time. He got these like sausage wrapped in like a croissant sort of situation. I'm not sure what you call that. He was obsessed. The coffee is phenomenal. We get home and my chairs came, the accent chairs. I'm sure you saw them. If you didn't, in my September links, I got these green, modern, mid-century chairs from Polly and Bark that I told you about. And I'm obsessed. Not only are they actually, like, you don't lounge in them. They're comfy though to sit on, but the green is perfection. It's just a nice little touch and it completes the living room. And then the biggest, most wonderful discovery of my lifetime. I'm like, I need to go get coffee table books, not only for the credenza, but for the coffee table. I almost literally said coffee table itself. I looked online and I couldn't remember, and I never really looked before, if half-priced books have coffee table books. And if you've never looked into coffee table books, like, you know, the Tom Ford, the Vogue, like there's all like the fashiony ones, which are cute. Like the Tom Ford one, it's black. I understand it's a neutral, it's cool. But like these books, you guys, range from $40, that's modest. I would say $50 to like over $100 for one singular book. And it's like, what the fuck are we talking about? I get that it's bigger. I get that it's a decor piece, but I'm like, I'm not paying, especially for like, Nanny Mom put this idea in my head. In their home, they do have a lot of like, in Nanny Dad's office, well, I guess those are all his actual books. But when we were looking for decorative books for her closet, for the coffee table, for some of the shelves in Nanny Dad's room, we were trying to find some that like meant something to them, like things that they like Nanny Dad went to Michigan, right? Huge Michigan fan. So we got a Michigan one. I'm sure we got some sort of Jewish Israeli one, if I'm not mistaken. Or a few. We did get some fashion ones because Nanny Mom is into fashion. She has her Louboutins. She has, you know, the Vogue one. We have all sorts of them. And I love that. Like, I don't want to get some coffee table books that are like Vogue. Like, Brenna, shut the fuck up. You're not even, I mean, I kind of am trying to be into fashion, but like not really. Right? I'm like, what are the things that me and Carter like? So I go to Half Price Books and I just go to the areas. Number one, they have a photography section, which is kind of just like a lot of different things. Like it's just like pictures of things. So I went to 2 different Half Price Books across Saturday and Sunday. I went to one on Saturday and one on Sunday. I found number one, an America book, which has every state in it and it has photos of the state, which I thought was so cool. It's really old. It's a navy blue. And then on the side, a lot of them had covers on them, but obviously when you put them on the table, you want them to be naked. You want just like the hardcover. And I was like in Half Price Books, I was in there, each of them probably an hour, taking off the things, like looking at them, stacking them. Like, does this even look cool? Like, it does have to have a certain look. Like, you don't want a coffee table book that has like a photo on the top, or I didn't. Anyways, you can do whatever the fuck you want, obviously. But there was this America one, and like, I just wanted a really plain surface. And I also wanted you to read it when it was laying flat. Right? You guys get what I'm saying. I break it down like you're an idiot, but I just have a hard time like visualizing. So I want to make sure that you guys are visualizing this. I got an America one. I found a college football one, which Carter loves college football. I found a Corvette one, which like cars, my family. I also found a Chevrolet truck one, which My dad and grandpa, between the two of them, like I opened the book, I'm like, oh my gosh, my grandpa has this. Oh my gosh, this is the pickup that my grandpa drove when I was a kid. This, like, I just loved that. So I got a Chevy Trucks one, and then I got a game and hunting one because obviously Carter loves to hunt. He comes from hunting and fishing. And then I think that's it. I still need to get a few more. I want to get more for the credenza, but it is a process, but it was so worth it. And it was so much fun. And like I want to get a dog book, obviously. There's a few that I can think of that I just didn't find, but like searching, and they were all so cheap. Like I got all of these books for like $50 total. I think I got 7. Amazing. Highly, highly, highly recommend doing that. Moving right along, let me get with it. I like start the episode and I'm like, I literally didn't even know what I was going to talk about. And then I don't shut the up. Carter and I started playing Yahtzee before bed 2 nights ago because I finished Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, which I loved. I devoured it. I like couldn't put it down. And I actually went on Goodreads, which I don't do often, only when I remember. Well, actually, I have no other physical book to read now. And therefore, I pulled out my iPad to go on to Libby. And I haven't done that in so long because I got ACOTAR and then I went to Half Price Books one time and got like 4 books. And ACOTAR took me like months to read. It's been so long since I've read on Libby or on Kindle. And I pull it up and then I was like, oh, let me go to Goodreads because I'll go on to Libby. And I'll do it from popular to not and what's available now, obviously, because I need a book now. And if I haven't heard of something, I'll bop over to Goodreads and be like, what? If it's roughly a 4.0, I'm like, okay. Like if it's a 3.2, I get a little bit scared. But I was on there and I was like, oh my gosh, let me document that I read Malibu Rising. Of course, I gave it 5 stars, as I give all books 5 stars. I know some of you think that's so annoying, but like, you already know my opinion. Like, who the fuck am I to give a book less than 5 stars? Like, who am I to be a book critic? Like, I'm not. And I get that's the whole point, but like, I don't know. Let me live. Anywho, I give it 5 stars and I saw a review right below mine, or like I scrolled for a second and somebody said it so well. It was like, I felt like I was watching a show and not reading a book. Like the nighttime would roll around. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to like see what's going on. Like it felt like that. Like that was the perfect description. And I think about that for all Taylor Jenkins Reid. Doesn't she have One True Loves, which I loved? The 7 Dresses of Evelyn Hugo. Is that 7 Dresses? I'm not really sure. But yes, those are all by her. Love, love, love. I just love her storytelling, apparently. I put on to hold. Well, this is what happened. I pull up my iPad 2 nights ago and I was looking. And then I tried to play something on hold and it was like, bitch, update your library card. And it needed a pin. But I don't keep my phone upstairs. Ever since we've lived in this house, when we walk up the stairs, I plug in my phone downstairs and then I just go up and I typically have a book, right? Like I do not take my phone upstairs in the nighttime at all. And I was not going to go downstairs to go get that. And I also didn't want Carter to get it because I didn't want my phone in the room. I'm like, whatever. So I pull up like Pinterest. Well, then as I was doing that, I'm like, oh my God, I have a Yahtzee app on here because I would play it on the airplane if I bring my iPad, which I haven't done in a long time, again, because I've had physical books, but I pointed it at Carter and he's like, let's play. So 2 nights ago before bed, we play Yahtzee and this app is like so old and so glitchy and I won, but like sometimes it would like, it's still like obviously automatically rolling. Like Carter feels like because it's an app, it's like choosing me to win. Like it's not as legit. I won the first game. I won the second game and then I won last night and then I won again and I think I won a third one and like there were 2 games where like he was in the runnings to win but then I pulled through and he was like literally, not actually, but like kind of mad last night. He's like, what the fuck? But I need to find a book. Well, so the first night, I just didn't want to go downstairs. And then yesterday during the day, I put in the code when I thought about it. And then I was scrolling. And I just like, oh, I'm having a hard time finding something. And of course, all of the good books are on hold. So I put a bunch of holds on a bunch of different books. I need to find something. But that's the update. Oh, something that me and Carter watched, which actually wasn't that good, but we watched the documentary on The Biggest Loser that I think it was on Netflix. We also watched something that I never talk about, but we religiously watch when it comes out, is Shark Tank. We love Shark Tank. I love seeing products. I just love the show. I love every single shark. Honestly, besides Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban is kind of annoying to me. And I don't know if it's because he's from Dallas. I should be nice, but like, the one guy, Robert, is my favorite. If you watch, he is just like, him and Lori are and Barbara. I just love them. Mr. Wonderful, obviously, he's just kind of like a cranky old man. And then, what's that one guy's name? Maybe I'm getting them confused. Now I'm not sure. Anyways, we love Shark Tank, but we watched The Biggest Loser documentary. I watched The Biggest Loser growing up, like not regularly, but like frequently. I remember enough, like I watched a decent amount. I don't know in totality, but Carter never watched it. He obviously knew of it. And basically, of course, like I already knew when it started that they were going to have a problem with, like, it was, you know, they kept saying fat people and they're just like making fun of them and so on and so forth, and that they tried to push drugs onto them. And I get it and I hear them and it's valid, but it reminded me of, I told you guys, we watched the WWE documentary. If you don't know what the WWE is, it's like the Worldwide Wrestling or the World Wrestling Entertainment Wrestling. I don't know what it stands for. It's like that crazy wrestling that's like fake, where they have like the characters and they do all sorts of crazy shit. It was like a reality TV show. It was like a scripted, which most reality TV is scripted, I think. But like, oh my gosh. Speaking of reality TV, Taylor Frankie Paul from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is gonna be the Bachelorette. I've literally never watched The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. I'm 1000% watching this show. Oh my gosh, I'm so shook. I watched the episode on Call Her Daddy briefly. It was honestly kind of lame after they announced it. They were just like talking to her and whatever. But oh my gosh, that is incredible. I'm not like, I understand that people who watch Bachelor Nation have thoughts because like she's not in the legacy. Is that what I was going to say? She's not in Bachelor Nation. Like it started with The Bachelor and then they would pick a girl, I think, right? And she would become the Bachelorette and so on and so forth. And they would always come from the other episode. Like people that were liked, they would then make the next Bachelor. I think it's genius and I'm 100% going to be watching. I'm so intrigued. Like I just love The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which also reminds me, I think the new season comes out like November 13th. However, I've also never watched Dancing with the Stars, but between the two Secret Lives of Mormon Wives moms and Alex Earl, I like want to watch. And I'm not even like, I'm not big stans. Like I don't get deeply invested into people's lives. Like I watched The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and loved it, but like I'm not keeping up on social medias with like everything that these people do, but I just like really enjoy them. And I think it's so interesting. And I've been seeing all of the promo. Like I've been getting every Dancing with the Stars like thing from Jen, Whitney, and Alex Earl. And I'm like obsessed. I'm like, I need to know what happens. Before I would get them, but I never really knew who the people were. Therefore, I didn't really give a fuck. But now that I do, I'm like, oh my gosh. And also, can we manifest? Let's all hold hands right now. And this is going to be so stupid. And I'm sure I've said this before. There was a Real Housewives of Dallas back in the day. Actually, I know a lot of these women are at the like influencer events here in Dallas, but one of the women, her daughter was friends with Nanny Girl, but then they had a big falling out. It was like kind of tea, but we ran into her one time at the state fair and her mom, but her mom was on the Real Housewives of Dallas. And I love her. She's so kind. And her husband too, because Nanny Girl had this girl over at one of her birthday parties. This was obviously before the falling out in the 5th fucking grade. However, there was a Real Housewives of Dallas. I've never watched it. I've actually never watched any of them, but people say that like Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is kind of like a modern version of the Real Housewives or the Secret, what the fuck? Because there's also the Desperate Housewives, but the Desperate Housewives is like a show, right? That's not reality TV. I could be mistaken. I don't really know. But people are saying it's like a modern version. I need that in Dallas and I want to be on it. Bring back the Real Housewives of Dallas and put me on. I think it would be so cool. Like, I see these women, make me the villain. I actually don't give a shit. Like, I just like want to be a part. And I'm not even like, I don't know why. You know what it is? And this is another thing that I should have brought up. I went to Home Goods this weekend and I ran into Kat. Kat Dunn was on the Sally Hansen trip with me when we went to San Antonio for Ulta Beauty World. She was on Big Brother. I'm sure I mentioned this before. Big Brother is another, do you call that reality TV? It's like a game show. 16 people go into this house. There's cameras everywhere. There's challenges. We have talked about this. If you don't know, every week somebody gets eliminated. There's these challenges. There's backstabbing. There's like so much. And me, my brother, and my mom would watch it every summer. It always airs in the summer or like late summer into fall. And whatever nights it was on, my mom would also, she would record. There was this thing called Big Brother After Dark. It was like from 12 to 1 or like maybe 11 to 1 every night. It was literally just cameras on the people talking. And sometimes you could like see people scheming and you could see the alliances. And like my mom would record that and we would watch it. Like we were big fans for a while. It was so fun. We would pick our favorite and then if they got eliminated, whatever. But like I loved Big Brother growing up and like I always wanted to be on it because number one, I think the winner wins like $500,000, something crazy. We also, with my dad, watched The Amazing Race every Sunday. I loved The Amazing Race. And I liked these specifically because there's games, there's like mental and physical challenges. And I love that. My mom, she actually did watch The Bachelor and Bachelorette, but I think that was like later and we were already at our dad's house. I remember I would catch like the ends or the beginnings maybe, but I was so young. Like I only remember it when I was really young. She also watched Survivor, which again, I think would come on in the nighttime and my dad would pick us up and I didn't get to watch those. I think she would record Big Brother as well, but would save that. So we would watch it the next day together when we did have time because I went to my mom's house, remember, like right after school at like 3:30 and then my dad would pick me up at 5:30. So I was only with my mom like 2 hours, roughly, give or take. But we obviously, my family didn't like, my dad wasn't watching Real Housewives, but we did watch The Amazing Race. Like those are the shows I watched. So I did grow up watching, if you call that reality TV game shows. And therefore, like I always wanted to be on them. Like The Amazing Race, me and my brother would be like, we have to get on this when we're older. And my brother actually puts in submissions to be on Big Brother. I think he's applied like 3 different times to be on Big Brother. And I think that'd be so cool if he got on. And he's so smart because Big Brother, it's physical, which my brother would be good at, but also mental. And my brother's like quite literally, besides Carter, the smartest person I know, and he would fuck it up. There was this guy, Derek, once who won. He was a cop, I think, from New York. Anywho, you guys don't give a shit. Kat Dunn was on Big Brother. But I stopped watching once I went to college because I didn't have a TV anymore and I just kind of fell off. But my brother always watched, and my mom, they still watch. They're watching it right now. Well, Kat was on a season, I think in 2018, around then, and she was on it and is a Big Brother person. So she's like been on the show, which is how she became like an influencer, obviously. And anywho, I remember being on the trip. I told him, well, I run into Kat and I haven't seen her since the trip at Home Goods this weekend. And her boyfriend, they're doing an Amazing Race season that is all Big Brother contestants. So this season of The Amazing Race is a Big Brother, like they're kind of doing a collab. Her and her boyfriend are on it and it's coming out. It's finally been announced. She told us at Sally Hansen that she was on it, but like she wasn't supposed to be talking about it at the time. But now it's out there and she invited me while we were at Home Goods, like literally on Sunday, to come. They're hosting like a premiere watching at like the Grandscape like movie theater. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go. I think it's like coming up. I think it's like October. It's right before the race. It's like the Wednesday before I'm leaving for Minneapolis. But I don't know how we got here. Anyways, so she's kind of like in reality TV. It's different because like Big Brother and like The Amazing Race don't get the publicity that like The Bachelor and like these kinds of things get. But anywho, how did we get here? Okay, let me look at my notes app. Oh, The Biggest Loser. Let me get back to that. Basically, it reminded me of the WWE documentary that we watched. Oh, it's wrestling. Me and my brother grew up watching it every Wednesday night. And then I think they came out with more nights. But basically in this documentary that just came out, it was also talking about like TV in the early 2000s. Number one, it was like unprecedented. Like, yes, they were doing crazy shit. Like, yes, you could look at The Biggest Loser now and be like, that was humiliating. You just like had big people come on trying to lose weight. But like, it also like, I think they were trying to do good. Like, they helped these people actually lose weight. Of course, people gained the weight back. Some did, some didn't. Now there's fucking Ozempic. So like the show would be non-existent today. But like, I don't know. It was fine. They tried to do this in WWE where people had such a problem. They were like, he was doing horrific things, which yes, like there was some crazy shit on that show, but like, you want the views. It's like people on social media who post crazy shit. It's like the Paul brothers. It's like it gets views. And I think people get wrapped up in it. And again, in the early 2000s, like The Biggest Loser, it's like they were getting views. People were watching. Of course, they're going to make them do crazy shit. Like that's TV. I'm just like, we can look back on something and say, wow, that was kind of like fucked up and not okay. But like at the time, they didn't really know. And maybe you can say they should have known, right? But like, I don't believe in that. It's kind of like when social media controversies come out and like people are like, oh my gosh, they should have known better. It's similar. Let's fucking talk about it. Child exploitation. If you are unaware, I don't believe in child exploitation, and I don't believe in posting your child on social media, period. For influencers especially, but even regular people. Like, I just don't think, why do they need to be on the internet? And I think, again, social media in the grand scheme is rather new. Facebook came around in 2010 roughly, maybe late 2000s. I don't really know, but like that's rather new. And it's a social app. It's a social network, and it makes sense why it started and people would post photos with their kids. Like, I get it. And again, the very first YouTube vloggers, it was the first of their time. They didn't fucking know that there were creeps on the internet. They didn't know that people would become obsessed with them. Like, yes and no. Like, I just don't believe that, like, and I go back and forth. I don't believe in child exploitation, right? Like when I see people post their children, I'm like, oh, why are you doing that? Especially big creators. I'm like, at this point, we all learn things at different times. Okay. I am a firm believer. Like when people get canceled, I'm like, they didn't know, right? Like, I don't think people intentionally do bad things. Of course people do, but like that's not my default reaction. Of course you can sit here and say like they should have known better, but like how? Like we all learn in different ways. Speaking of, did I already talk about this? Carter came home like last week and was like, oh my gosh, did you see that mom, Emily Kaiser? Which he doesn't fucking know who Emily Kaiser is, but he heard about what happened. I never spoke on it because I just like don't think that's appropriate to speak on. I still feel weird right now, but what I'm going to say is she came out with an apology. And in it, she said something like, I'm going to think long and hard about sharing my children on the internet now because like the reaction and so on. And it's like, it's so easy to be like, no shit. But like, how would she, like, you don't really know until you go through something. And again, we all learn things at different times. I think it'd be easy with all of the things that have happened. That one girl that was like posting things of her daughter, I don't remember her name. Like, we all can learn together that like I just don't think kids can be on the internet, but like to shame somebody for doing something like they just didn't know, right? It's like The Biggest Loser. It's like, yeah, somebody could have guessed like, okay, are they just making fun of fat people? But like, I'm gonna give people the benefit of the doubt. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but like the documentary sucked. It was like 3 episodes of the same thing. Don't watch it. Right. It was reminiscent. Like once they were showing clips, it was nostalgic. Like I remember watching The Biggest Loser and like every single episode, I don't really know. They would get on the scale and like the pounds would drop and like you would cheer if they lost like a ton of weight. Like I remember sitting in my living room watching that, which is so funny. But anywho, moving right along. Oh, something else that's coming out soon, Selling Sunset, which it's gone kind of bad. Like I feel the latest seasons haven't been as good as the first seasons, which typically just tends to happen, but I'm invested and I do really like Sumi. I like Brie. I like Chriselle. I like Emma. I don't like, what's that girl's name? Nicole. Oh, Chelsea. I loved her at first. I loved her outfits. I love her crazy fucking outfits. But I feel like something happened recently. Oh, her husband cheated. Oh, I remember what happened. She shamed Brie for having a child with Nick Cannon and not being like a family of God and, you know, having a household, like knowing that your kid's going to grow up in a house with no two parents, so on and so forth. Turns out this girl who's judging this other woman, husband is cheating on her in broad daylight at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I think they got a divorce. Now you're kidding. Like, I just hate, oh my gosh. I literally thought about this today. Y'all, I went to the mall with Carter. This was a couple weeks ago now. And it's really not that significant, which is why I never thought to bring it up. But it popped into my head this morning and I was like, I need to talk about this on the podcast. I was at Viore with Carter and he was trying things on. And while he was trying things on, a girl that was working at Viore, she came up to me in the dressing room because I was just like sitting there on a stool. And she was like, oh my gosh, do you make TikToks? And of course I'm like, yes. But typically when people up until recently come up to me and say hello, they always go in about like they went through a breakup or like they were in a situationship or something along those lines. Like that's always the case. Well, I've recently made a few Dallas videos, which is fine, but now people are recognizing me from these Dallas videos. And she goes to me, she's like, oh my gosh, your videos on the Katy Trail. I made videos. You probably didn't see them if you're not in Dallas because they were Dallas specific, but I made these videos talking about the Dallas Katy Trail rules because you guys know I walk the Katy Trail every day of my life. And I made these 2 videos, I think, talking about my rules. Like, don't fucking stop on the trail to talk to people and block the way. Keep your dog on a tight leash because I've seen so many near collisions with bikers and dogs and just like dogs like jumping out and almost tripping people. I also hate that people bike on the Katy Trail. It's so dangerous. I've seen an accident. I've seen people almost hit one another. Like these bikes come zooming past. It was things like that. A lot of them were safety based or just like annoying. Like, don't stop in front of people and like people have to go around. Like the trail on a Saturday and Sunday is so packed and like people will stop in the middle of the trail. It's like, fucking move. So I made these videos. Well, this girl, she's like, I love those videos. And then she started going in, okay, about what her rules would be. And like, I was here for it at first, but then she was just kind of like being judgmental. Like she said something like, if you've never ran before, you're not athletic, like don't run or like don't be in a run club. And I'm like, like, how does that affect you? I like never am paying attention to people's like running form, to be honest. She also talked about like girls wearing a full face of makeup on the trail. She's like, don't wear. And I'm like, again, like I've never really given a fuck what a woman does. And I've definitely had makeup on and then hit the trail. And like, if you even just like wear makeup to go on a run, I don't give a fuck. And she also said something about like bras, like girls who wear bras and run that are like, bouncing around essentially. This was like a 30-year-old woman. And I'm like, again, what the fuck are you even talking about? I was like trying to like, and I was like, oh yeah. Like, I was like, I feel like that would just like hurt, you know? Like I was trying to like, she was honestly just being judgmental. And I was like, oh my God, bad vibes. And then Carter came out and I was like, let's get the fuck out of here. And hopefully she never listens to this, but I'm just like, those are not the same rules that I had. Anywho, I don't know why that was important to tell you. Let me read my notes app. Things I'm hyper fixating on. Oh, these sparkling ice drinks. there was a moment in time where I had an eating disorder. And when you have an eating disorder, this like really isn't pertinent to the information, but like you do anything to like try and suppress your appetite. And for me, like you can drink a lot of water, or like coffee was a big one, but like these tasty sparkling ices were something that I used to like get flavor too, because I was like starving myself essentially. This is like so much detail that you guys like don't need to know, but I drank these a lot in that era. And because I hated spending money in college, so I could justify them because they were like 90 cents. I want to say maybe they were 50 cents at the time, literally. So I would go to Walmart and get them, but they're so good. I love these ice drinks and they're still 90 cents. I ordered these on Amazon, cherry Starburst, because you guys know I love a good Diet Coke. And I can't drink Diet Coke every night. Oh, and the problem is, even when I do have a Diet Coke, like on a weekend, the caffeine, like I feel like it's been keeping me up, whereas I used to never have that problem. So I'm like, what's something that's like not terrible for me and like doesn't have caffeine? And I was in Target looking for something and I came across these ices, and now I've been getting them because I deserve them, right? Anywho, what else is going on? Oh, I don't think Carter is going to make it to the race in Minneapolis, which is fine. It's literally 6 miles. It's at like 6 a.m. I booked my flights like a week ago or two, and we pulled them up this weekend or yesterday. When was that? And we were looking for like a Friday night flight, and the latest that there was to Minneapolis was like 6:30. And then he was like, what about Saturday morning? And I'm like, well, I run at 7 a.m. There's going to be nothing before then. And I'm like, babe, it's like 48 hours. There's no reason, which means I'm probably going to stay at my brother's house and sleep on their futon. I need to ask him and Ashley if they're okay with that. He did present me the opportunity. He said, if you want and are okay sleeping on a futon, which I still might get a hotel, because like I'm at the age where like I kind of just want my own space. I'm not really sure. We'll see, TBD. Another thing that happened, I ordered those brown jeans on Zara. I spoke about them and I think I'm going to go shopping today, but I pulled them up after the podcast last week and they were sold out. Literally, it was like out of stock. And I'm like, mother. And then I saw another bitch wearing them on my For You page or on Instagram. And I was like, God, you know when that happens, when you don't buy something and then it's out and you're like, I'm a freaking idiot. I was so mad. Well, I don't know what gave me the hope, but I was on a walk the other day and I just like pulled it up, or I was trying to find similar and they were back in. So I ordered a size 6. I don't think they're coming until Monday. That is all I have, you guys. I'm watching the kids this weekend. So I'm going to go over there today, Friday at like 4:30. I think somebody must be dropping them off. I get to drive in the Tesla. I love driving the Tesla so much, as you guys know. And I'm trying to think what else we have. That's it. I think I had 2 questions in my forum. Let's pull them up. Ask me anything. 2 responses. Let's go. Number 1. All right. So this is pretty much a cry for help with adult friendships. Oh God. Most of my life, I've been a pretty low maintenance friend. I enjoy being alone and require time to myself to really recharge for social settings, which I do also enjoy. Okay, this sounds like me. Since graduating college, I seem to have a smaller social battery mode. The adult friendships I have post-grad can oftentimes feel draining, and I really have like 3 friends I can be with even when my battery is low. This has led to people beyond those 3 expressing feeling left out or offended when I don't invite them over for a movie night. I even have an accountability group I meet with on Saturdays and have had 2 friends in their early 20s express being hurt by that. You guys are being needy as fuck. I'm just kidding, but okay. I've never really had friends that have made a big deal about me not seeing them as often as I do others. To clarify, I see all of these people 1 to 2 times a week, but they aren't all as close as I am to each of them. Okay. I'm getting it. How do I navigate boundaries, but also be kind? How do I not make it my problem? I don't think I owe anyone an explanation for my plans or even how I spend my time, but at the same time, I want to be a good friend. I think I struggled to be understanding because I don't have huge expectations of my friends because I understand that we each have busy lives. Some of us have husbands or children, and I don't expect anyone to make me their top priority. So it's hard for me to be understanding and patient with younger friends who seem to have those expectations and friendship insecurities. Being an adult is so hard. Okay, well, this sounds like me 1000%. And I think your friendships are just going to shift. I think this is a natural progression. And I think naturally we grow and we change, but you need to take care of you. And I want to hear their feelings and understand, but like you said, it's hard when like you don't really care. Like I don't ever, like if I haven't talked to my friends in a while, if I haven't seen them, like I'm not keeping track of them. I'm also not keeping tabs on who they're hanging out with or what they're posting on socials. Like I don't care. That has nothing to do with my friendship with them. And like there are moments in my life where I'm busier and I'm not as communicative. And I think these friendships, and maybe I'm like so bad at giving advice. Like I know you should put effort into your friendships, but it's also like, as we get older, I think we're going to have fewer friends. And I think that we are busy. We have jobs. We then have boyfriends or husbands. And like it ebbs and flows for everybody. Even if you're single, like your friends have relationships or are in relationships, and we understand and respect that. And I think some people are needier than others. Like I remember in college, like there were girls that like were conjoined at the hip with people. And I think there are women that are like that now still, like that need to see their friends a lot. And I think it's just best to align yourself and have friends that are like you. Like all of my friends now are not needy and they're like the same as me. And like we're different in certain ways, but like all of my friends respect that I'm busy and like I'm not the most social person. Like they all know that if they invite me to something after 7 p.m., I'm not coming, and like they get it and they respect it. It's not a dig on them. It's not that I don't want to see them. It's not like when I see my friend Natalie, you know, my friend Elisa's like, oh, but you've seen Natalie. Like, no, because like, what is that? Like, I think it's hard for everybody to navigate the changes in friendships, but I think that you should just like do what makes you happy and see the people who fill your battery. And like, there is a thing, I get it. You don't want to become a hermit. I know that people like, I am a hermit, but I also really like my life and I don't have a problem with it. I'm always happy to go out and engage. And like, again, it's going to ebb and flow. Like recently we've been seeing Carter's couple friends so often. And like, we've been going out to dinner every month or every weekend essentially. But like a year before now, for a year, we did nothing. I mean, I would see Natalie, I would see Elisa, I would see my friends, but like we did nothing on the weekends. But like now we're in this moment, like, and these are new friends that we just made that we really enjoy. Like, I don't know. I think, I even have an accountability group I meet with on Saturdays, and 2 friends in their early 20s. I think, yeah, you do the best you can. You tell them, sorry, like, I'm just, doing the best I can. Like, I was invited to this thing, or like, I don't know, but also like you would have invited them if they wanted, or if you wanted them there. So I think like it makes sense. And sometimes you just don't want a big group doing things, but like the friends, I just like can't deal with needy people. And it's like, read the room. It's like, you're going to cry to somebody about, like, clearly I get it. They're feeling hurt. I shouldn't. I just like I've never been in that position. And if you're like me, which you say that you are, it's like, what are we even talking about? Because you're not hurt by those sorts of things. But yeah, being an adult is hard. And I feel like friendships, they come and go. And I mean, people are going to have hurt feelings. People are going to have expectations, but like, you just got to do what's best for you and be around the people who charge your battery, because there's nothing worse. Like, I've had friends, oh my gosh, like there's my friend Chris, who I was really close with for a long time when I was single. But like, there were ways in which we were different. And like, I don't know, there just came a point where like, at one point it really did charge my battery seeing him, and then it didn't. And then it was exhausting. And I don't know what changed. I think I was trying to like grow into a different area of my life, like these things just happen, right? I still love him. Like if I saw him, I would be like, oh my gosh, hi. But like it just became like a lot, and like these things just happen. Those are my thoughts. Okay, this is the last one. Hey, Brenna, this isn't really a dilemma, just a girly looking for some advice. I, 26 female, and my boyfriend, 29 male, are about to move in together for the first time, and I wanted to see if you have any advice or tips for the next step in our relationship. For some background, we met on a dating app 2 years ago, and after our first date, we were smitten and dated consistently. We had a date every Friday for 6 weeks before we started seeing each other a few more times a week, up to as often as we could. Now, 2 years later, we've been speaking about living together, and we decided to live at his house. For context, my boyfriend owns his house and I currently rent, so this made sense for us. Amazing. We've been talking things through, such as who will be doing the household jobs. For example, I love to cook, so I'll be making dinners and he'll clean up afterwards. I hate laundry and he doesn't mind it, so that's his. And he'll do the little pickups around the house and I'll do the deep cleans. When it comes to finances, my boyfriend makes quite a bit more than I do and expressed he wouldn't want us to pay the bills 50-50. Instead, he wants to base this off of our income, which I think was really considerate of him to suggest. Yes, and I think that's amazing. Like I said, we've been trying to plan and prep for this next step in our relationship, but I'm mindful neither of us has ever lived with a partner before, and this could be a learning curve for both of us. So I guess I'm asking if you have any advice, suggestions, or tips for this change. Thanks so much, Brenna. P.S. I'm loving the morning vlog content over on TikTok. Please keep doing them. Love from England. Okay. Love, love, love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here is what I would say. It sounds like you've talked about a lot of things, the finances, the chores, because those are all big things. And it's great that you guys like different things. Like for us, Carter, like I cook now because obviously he's so busy, but like I do the laundry because I don't mind it. And he does the deep clean because he likes to deep clean. That's amazing that you guys are aligned in that. Like, I don't know how couples do it when you hate the same things, but what are my best tips? I think you'll just move in together and things will be brought to your attention. It's hard to really know. It's also hard for me to give advice because honestly, living with Carter has been a dream. Like there wasn't even really like a learning curve. Like we had already been spending time together. I mean, we moved in so quickly together, but like we never have argued about anything around the house, like ever. Like I didn't do something, he didn't do something. There's none of that. We both just like do things when we can, take out the trash, clean up this, clean up that. Like it's not even a thought in my brain. Have fun. Like you guys have been together for 2 years. It's obviously serious. I love the splitting in terms of what you guys make. I think that's genius. And I think he's obviously already been paying for the house and doing, which I don't think he needs to do all of that because there are more expenses. You use more things, more groceries. Like I don't, again, there's like this movement, like the man should pay for everything. I don't necessarily agree with that, but like, I think, splitting 50-50 would be crazy if you're not making as much as him, but like, everybody do that with what they will. Like Carter and I, it was easy. Like we moved in together thinking we were hopefully going to get married and here we are. And so we didn't really nickel and dime each other because it already felt like our money, but I get not everybody is like that. And you need to like take care of yourself and make sure that you're good, but just like have fun. Honestly, I don't really have that many tips. Like talk about things, but again, like there's going to be things that you can't even foresee, but like the chores, the finances, and then really just getting used to living with somebody. I think it's hard for some people. Some people enjoy living with people. Like for me, it was like so scary giving up my independence and like not having my own place, but like living with Carter was like the best thing I ever did. And there's literally not been one complaint. Oh my gosh, I have no advice. Message me individually. We can chit chat, but like, it sounds like you know what you're doing and it'll just be like a little adjustment period, the getting ready for work and like the being around somebody 24/7, which is great, but it's also different, and the habits and the watching TV, like the stupid stuff. But like when you're with the love of your life, like that, shouldn't be that big of a deal. Like you guys will figure it out. You'll create new habits, new patterns, and it'll be amazing. And guess what? If it doesn't work out, you'll just move back out. And like, of course, I'm not trying to like wish ill on your relationship, but like people make living in together, moving in together, like this big, like, oh, and it's like, if you break up, you'll have your job still. Like, don't quit your job. My number one piece of advice is, yeah, don't quit your job and rely on this guy, like, until you're married. And even still, like, that's, I'm not even going to go there. But like, worst case scenario, you guys break up and then you'll just get an apartment again. Like, I think it's great. I think it's the next step. You've been together for 2 years. If you guys want marriage, you want a family, like, this inevitably is going to happen, and you may as well test run it out. And maybe there will be something that gets brought to your attention, but I don't think so. Like, I think you guys have talked about a lot of things. It'll be great. It'll be amazing. And let me know how it goes. Thank you guys so much for listening. Oh, I wanted to save this for the end, and I don't even know the details. I'm going to bring back my Tuesday photo dumps. You guys love them. I love them, except for getting the first photo, which I'm going to be better at. Hello, Brenna. This is your literal job. Just fucking take a goddamn photo. However, what I was going to say, I'm going to talk to my manager today. I think there is a Carter reveal in our future, and it might be quicker than you think. Okay, I don't want to get anybody's hopes up, because you guys know how like ADD I am, and but like, it's going to happen. I've talked to Carter about it. I've talked to my manager about it. It just makes sense. I'm sharing more of our life. Like, let's get Carter not involved. Like, just one photo, just like be done with it, post it. But I think that's in your future, and I hope you guys are excited. But regardless, I think the Tuesday photo dumps will come back. I think we'll start with a bang. Maybe a reveal. Again, maybe. Don't hold me to this. I think though, like, let's do it. Like, who gives a shit? And then we'll do the Tuesday dumps. I don't know if it'll be this coming Tuesday, but soon. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. Thank you guys so much for listening. As always, I hope you have the best weekend. Be safe, be healthy, be good, have fun. And I will see you guys on Monday. Okay, bye.